All right. So I hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a great weekend. And, to be honest, this morning I woke up and, just reading some of the headlines and various things. And I'm just furious. I'm just absolutely furious. And I just wanted to explain, why I have this fury that I have in my heart right now. Because the reality is, it's very difficult for just a regular person like me to keep everything in front of me, to keep all the plays that are being currently run on the church in America. There's just so many of them, and they're coming at you fast and furious. They're coming at you all simultaneously. So to keep them organized and straight is a very difficult task, and I don't think any one person can actually do it. But there's just so much going on, and I have to wonder, does Big Eva know what it's doing? Is it self-aware? Do they know that they're being what their role is in the zeitgeist right now, or is it just accidental? They're just trying to be liked. They're just trying to go with the flow. They're just trying to go with what's popular. So they're just participating unwittingly, but they are participating. In the end, it doesn't really matter because you got to destroy untruth the same way, whether it's intentional or accidental. It still has the same result. But I often wonder about this, because if it wasn't intentional, they're doing such a good job that it might as well be. It might as well be intentional. What I mean is, last month, if you remember, Big Eva was following essentially what the world was doing, the zeitgeist, and they were reporting about how QAnon is the most dangerous thing ever, right? QAnon is the most dangerous thing that our country faces in 2020, and it's just everyone was dunking on it, right? Like that Ed Stetzer put out an article, Joe CIA operative Carter put out an article, some chick wrote an article, I don't even know her name, who cares? But they all write in articles in these major think pieces about how dangerous QAnon is and how satanic it is for a Christian to get involved. And everyone was dunking on it because, let's say you had a list of 1,000 problems in the United States, right? A list of 1,000 problems ranked from the most important to the least important. QAnon would be in the 900s, no question about it. It's one of the least important problems that our nation has right now, that people might believe some wrong things about child sex pedophile rings. Even though they do exist, they believe some wrong things about them, so that's the most dangerous thing ever. That's satanic. If you had to list the problems, it would be near the bottom of the list of important problems in our country today. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And people were dunking on this all day. And this was last month. And then this month, what happens is there's a Netflix show with 11-year-old girls showing their breasts and bumping and grinding each other and things like that. Now, if you oppose that, you're QAnon. That's the play. This is Melissa Ryan chick. Tulsi Gabbard, a Democrat. She, a squirrel finds a nut every now and then. A broken clock is right twice a day. She's against the softcore porn that Netflix is putting on with children actors, and now that because she's against that, she's now QAnon. So you see how the play works, and you get morons like Joe Carter to say that QAnon's satanic, and then later, if you oppose sexualization of children on from a major corporation, I'm talking Netflix, it couldn't be a bigger corporation doing this, right? Netflix. Now you're QAnon for being against that. Do you see how this works? And it's the same thing with conspiracy theory. You say some conspiracy theories are satanic, and then the next day, Trump saying that there are people organizing a lot of these protests. That's a conspiracy theory. Now you're satanic. Do you see how this play is working? Is Big Eva complicit in this in a self-conscious way, or are they just idiots, right? Are they just being used? Are they just being played so well like a fiddle that they don't even know what they're doing, but they're doing it, right? They're helping the zeitgeist move forward. They're helping the lies march forward. Again, it doesn't matter. This must be put down, right? We need to put down Big Eva. It's just that simple. But the reality is that if they couldn't do it better if they were trying. So I think that they probably are trying. This is probably intentional. I think that Ed Stetzer is probably compromised. I think that Joe Carter is probably compromised. I don't think there's any real reason to doubt this at this point. These people are part of the zeitgeist. They're doing it intentionally. They got their orders to talk about QAnon, and so they talked about QAnon. Now, maybe they didn't know why they were talking about QAnon. Now, a month later, it's been revealed, because now if you're against the sexualization of minors, you're part of QAnon. So now you got to be against yourself, or I guess repent in sackcloth and ashes. I don't know. I don't know if their handlers told them the whole story of what was going to happen. All they said was, Joe, it's time to write an article about QAnon. Hey, lady from Christianity Today, it's time to write an article about QAnon. So they said, yes, sir, like dutiful little soldiers. Or did they know that it was going to be a whole play to sort of like anyone who's against child predators is QAnon now? I don't know. I mean, I don't know which one it is. I don't even know which one is better. Would you prefer that they're just that idiotic? I don't know. I honestly don't know. But then the other thing is, Big Eva has to find its testicles again. Obviously, their balls have fallen off. This is Ryan Osinski. He said this on Twitter. Ryan Osinski, I have no idea who he is, but this is the kind of guy that Big Eva produces, right? This is Big Eva approved kind of stuff, right? He's a anyway, let's who cares who he is? He says this. He says, if you are horrified at the film Cuties, the film has accomplished its purposes. The dance routine clip isn't glorifying the sexualization of young girls any more than the flogging scene in Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ glorifies flogging. Disgust is the point. So he's using his big brain. He's got his big boy brain, and he's thinking big thoughts. And he knows that that was the point. You see, the point was to disgust you through 11-year-old girls gyrating their pelvises. That was the whole point. And so mission accomplished. Big Eva's testicles have fallen off, or did they even ever have them? That's the other question. Maybe Big Eva never even had testicles, and that's the whole point. But the reality is, like this dude just enunciated what every single dude that got caught by Chris Hansen in To Catch a Predator said. Chris Hansen would ask him, well, why'd you send them child porn? Why'd you send them a pic? And the predator, to the man, would always say, well, I was just trying to warn the teen about the dangers of the internet. I was trying to horrify her so that she wouldn't be on the internet. And every single pedo says this kind of stuff. Every single one. You send them a picture of your penis, and they're like, well, I was just trying to scare them straight. I was just trying to warn them about the dangers of the internet. They all said it. So here we go. We've got Big Eva producing men with no testicles that can't just be like, no, this is wrong. This is evil. We can't do this. No. We've got to think big brain, big boy thoughts. And so that's the kind of thing that we have. See, this is the kind of person Big Eva produces. They try to nuance things that are obviously revolting, nuance it to death, and then always punch right. That's the conservatives are always wrong, and the liberals who are sexualizing 11-year-olds, they're right because they're actually trying to make this big brain point. It's just absolutely insane, right? And so the reality is that I'm not trying to pick fights unnecessarily, but we just have to stand up to this stuff. We just have to say no to it, right? We have to continue to show people that Big Eva has no clothes. They're the emperor who has no clothes, and they're there, and they've got the cushy jobs, they've got the salaries, they've got the conference speaking gigs and the book deals. But these people are leading you over a cliff, and we're going to continue to expose it as aggressively as I see fit. It's just that simple. It's going to happen as aggressively as I see fit. And don't tell me that that's wrong. Don't tell me that I'm not doing it the right way. I'm allowed to critique, but not this way. When you start to actually critique in the right way, then you show me what that's like. You show me what the critique is like. When you start naming names and you're doing it in the polite way that says, like, yeah, guys, why are you, running interference for these pagan pedophiles? When you do that in the right winsome kind of way, you can come to me, we'll talk about it, and we'll see who's who. But the thing is, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. Kevin DeYoung, you're still at Gospel Coalition, not doing anything. And so, whatever. If you're right on these issues, who cares? Who cares if you're not telling anybody about it? You know what I mean? Like, I've had it. I've had it with the ultimately nuanced. You know what I mean? The ultimately nuanced that don't get anything done. We've got here in my county. I'm not a registered voter. I mean, I've told you guys this. I'm not a registered voter. I'm not a registered Republican or anything. But here in my county in New Hampshire, we've got a tranny Satanist that just won the Republican nomination for sheriff in our county, right? And this is the fruit of not finding your balls, right? Not actually doing things, not actually taking ground. Instead, always playing defense and always playing nuanced winsomeness with pagans. Stop doing it. We've got a tranny Satanist who's won the GOP nomination for sheriff in my county. This is incompetence to the nth degree. So if you have problems with the way that I say things, you have problems with the way that I'm doing things, I don't care at all. When you show me the right way to do it, the right way that gets results, and it's so winsome and all this kind of stuff, then maybe we can talk about it. But until then, I've just had it. I've had it. Look, I'm going to guard my own tongue because the Bible tells me to, right? I'm going to guard my own heart because the Bible tells me to, right? But there are some things that should piss you off. There's some things that should give you rage in your heart. You should hate the things that God hates. You should hate the double-minded. You should hate the pagans. There's just no question about it. And if you don't have a theology that makes room for that, and that if you don't have a theology that allows you to look at sick people that want to normalize, men oogling and desiring and wanting to have sex with children and putting them in sexually perverse situations and having them gyrate and twerk in front of them, all while saying how big-brained it is. Oh, it's 4D chess because you see the disgust was the point. If you don't have a theology that has room for fury at that kind of thing, then your theology is completely worthless. It is completely worthless, and I've had it. I've absolutely had it with incompetence. I've had it with people that are trying to nuance things to death that shouldn't be nuanced. I've had it with that. The Revoice Conference, trying to soft pedal all that kind of stuff. And no, that should actually make you want to throw up what they're doing. Not have a panel discussion about, can I cuddle my boyfriend as a Christian? So yeah, I just have had it with that kind of thing. I saw this passage from Leviticus. My pastor this Sunday, I love my pastor, man. He was preaching about something, and I was thinking in my head, there's a passage that relates to this, and I was looking for it in Leviticus. This is Leviticus 19. Leviticus 19, and this is where you get love your neighbor, by the way, right? This is love your neighbor as yourself. It comes from Leviticus 19. Leviticus 19 is so relevant for today. It talks about oppression, don't rob people, you know what I mean? It talks about not being partial to the poor people, not being partial to the great people, just righteousness, is the same no matter if you're poor, rich, black or white, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But listen to this. I hadn't really, this never struck me the way it did yesterday before. It says, this is verse 17, you shall not hate your brother in your heart, but you shall reason frankly with your neighbor, lest you incur sin because of him. I'm going to continue to reason frankly. I'm going to continue to tell you what's what, the way I see it. I'm going to continue to tell you what the Bible says and all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to continue to call you out. I'm going to reason frankly with you. I'm going to do the respect of naming you, because that's the right thing to do. We've got the Den Hollanders, Rachel Den Hollander. She's the one that everyone was so clutching their pearls because Founders Ministry put her in their trailer. And she's a little weasel as well, because the reality is that Den Hollander is a political operative in our midst, right? She's a political operative who has the clothing of someone who's against sex trafficking and stuff like that. Because you know how I know this? Because she's like that Alyssa Milano person, right? She's all against sexual assault until it's the Democrats. Then it's like, well, we got to be nuanced, that kind of thing. You got Ted Cruz. He wrote a letter that we should investigate Netflix. We definitely should investigate Netflix. There's no question about it. We should put resources into that. But Den Hollander's not happy with that. No. This is just posturing, and this is just political and stuff like that. Den Hollander, no. I mean, she didn't call him QAnon, but she might as well have. She's playing part of this zeitgeist as well. Is she just stupid, or does she know what she's doing? I don't know if she's just stupid or if she knows what she's doing, but it doesn't matter. Either way, you confront it the same way. Founders was right to put her in that trailer. Founders was right to overlay somebody talking about principalities and powers and stuff like that when her image was on the screen. Founders was right. They were right then. I defended them then. I never stepped back from that. I never apologized for it. In fact, I said they should not have apologized for it, because they were right then and they're right now. So if you're one of those losers that was piling on to Founders Ministry, how dare you, sir? How dare you? One of those white knights out there defending her. Look at what you are defending, a political operative in your midst. It's just that simple. They were right then. They were right now. I will never, ever apologize for that. And so, yeah, if you got the better way to do it, you got the better strategy for confronting critical theory in the church, you got the better strategy for winning this in your ultimately nuanced, winsome way, show me how you've confronted it. Show me how you've done it at all, and show me your results. and then we can talk about it, all right? Until then, just keep your mouth shut. And I'm not talking about people who are actually fighting this, but maybe they're doing it in a little bit of a more winsome, soft kind of way. Because if anyone who knows me knows I don't give people like that any grief. I'm just like, I'm grateful for any amount of pushback. That's not who I'm talking to. I'm talking to all these people that either they don't want to do anything, or they do want to be very concerned about critical theory and all this kind of stuff. But then they're like, but you can't do it that way. You can't do it too aggressively. I just don't have any time for that kind of thing anymore. The reality is that we've got a major American corporation that's publishing sexualized videos of minors. We got that Desmond is Amazing boy who's been sexualized for years at this point. And all you guys are just you're having conferences about how much gayness can we get away with. How much gayness can a Christian get away with before it crosses the line? Like, you're having panel discussions about this. No, it needs to be put out. That needs to be put down quick, with the quickness. You know what I mean? So I don't have any patience for people. I don't like the way you're doing it. I don't like the way you're doing it. You can be right and in a wrong way, and so you're still wrong. I don't have any patience for that. I have to cut out too much of my Bible, to buy into that nonsense, and I just won't cut out those sections of my Bible. You see, the reality is, so many of you for years now, anyone gets a little bit aggressive with this disgusting era in our church. They put up someone in a video, they blur her image out. You just clutch your pearls and you want to stand against it because I don't really know why. Maybe it's because you want to get the happy greetings at the marketplaces. Yeah, the conference speaking book selling marketplace. Yeah, the Gospel Coalition, they always have a bookstore and stuff. You want to get the happy greetings there. A guy like me will never get the boisterous greeting at the marketplace. But if that's you want to go the official route, I don't have any grief with you because, look, a guy's got to make some money, right? But at the end of the day, just stay out of our way, because at the end of the day, I think that this strategy is having more impact than your nonsense strategy of, nuancing everything to death. I personally believe so, but you keep doing that. You keep having your podcast days after it's completely irrelevant, all that kind of stuff. Keep doing it and keep joining the world with the Black Lives Matter stuff and nuancing everything to death and all that. If that's what you think is going to work, fine. You keep doing it, but stop coming to my door when I know for a fact that the stuff that we're doing is setting this agenda and setting this straight in the right way. So anyway, I hope that you found this video helpful. Some of you guys might not. This might not be your cup of tea, and I completely understand. But the reality is that the amount of abject insanity that has gone on, all while Big Eva's having conferences about how much gayness can somebody get away with before they're too gay. I just have no time for it anymore, and I know that there's a growing number of people that see it for what it is. I've seen so many memes where somebody Googles, does a search on Gospel Coalition. Have they even addressed this Netflix situation? Have they even addressed it? I mean, the silence says it all. We've got so many memes of Russell Moore jumping with the quickness to defend the ability to build a mosque at ground zero, right? If it's Islam, oh yeah, he'll jump to it with the quickness. But John MacArthur's getting sued by the state and crickets. It's just absolutely crickets. Because why? Because, John MacArthur's a racist because he signed the statement on social justice. You see, this is the reality, right? I have no patience for it anymore. If you guys want to glad hand Russell Moore and get some of that sweet, sweet book deal money, that's fine. You do you. But leave me alone. Actually, don't leave me alone. I actually kind of like it because it gives me content. Not only does it give me content, but it allows me to have opportunities to show the contrast between me and you. It shows the contrast between me and you. You who have you can't figure out a way to condemn pedophilia without mentioning conspiracy QAnon. This is evil. You can't find a way to do it in a straightforward way. But of course, everyone and their mother's racist. Like I just had it. It's a little bit of a rant. So if you're here for more of my more winsome, more entertaining content, sorry about that. But the reality is, this is how I feel today. This is how I feel on Monday, September 14th. I can't turn on the camera and just fake it. So that's what it is. So anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. God bless.